Okay, so today's video is one of the most important videos I will ever make. And it's about the difference between the people who get what they want out of life and the people who don't. The people that build the successful business and the people who don't. The people that get the girl they want, the life they want, the career they want, and those who don't. And if you're not getting what you want out of life, it's likely because of this one reason. Real quick, before I continue, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, because I want you to be rich and happy and live an amazing life, and subscribing to this channel will hopefully help you do so. So anyway, let's talk about this one thing, and it's not this. This is way more complicated than the one thing that I'm about to tell you about. But there's one singular thing that separates everybody who has wild success in any endeavor, in any career, in any field, in any domain. Obviously, your skill set plays a role. Your experience plays a role. Your leverage and all of those factors play a role in success, but none of them even matter if you don't get this first thing correct, if you don't have this first intangible. And it's a singular word. And that word is conviction. If you can read my handwriting right here, conviction. That's the difference maker. If you watch professional basketball, you'll see a really apparent example of this. Most players at that level are all what you would call freak athletes. All of them are insanely athletic. When they were growing up, they were more athletic than anybody else on their teams, anybody else that they played against, for the most part. Obviously, there's some exceptions. And the one thing that separates the guys like LeBron and Kobe and all of the best players in the league versus the guys who have some success, but they're obviously not one of the best players ever, is this singular word, is conviction. Because it's what's going on between the ears. It's not that the best players ever are that much more athletic. It's not that they're that much more skilled. It's that they have enough self-belief and they believe that they can become the person who is one of the best players ever. They are willing and able to give themselves permission to be that person and then actually reach a level that 99.9% of professional athletes will never reach. And if you can develop this same kind of conviction and belief in yourself, in your own life, in your business, in anything that you are going towards, then there's no way you fail. It's literally impossible to fail if you are delusional enough to believe in yourself. I've met a lot of really dumb entrepreneurs, especially being in Miami. I'll go out to dinner with somebody, or I'll even just see somebody online and be like, this guy's pretty dumb. Like, they're not very articulate. They'll misspell really simple words, and I guess I do that sometimes, so maybe I'm dumb too. As you start to make more money, you start to realize that the people who are making the most money oftentimes are not autistically smart. Like, most of the time, they're really good at doing the basics and really good at understanding, okay, this is the fundamental lever that I need to pull. And if I just pull that really fucking hard over and over and over, I'm gonna find success with it. So you might have heard people say like, oh, there are people dumber than you making way more money than you. And it's 100% true. And it's because you can't intellectualize your way to a goal. You can't solve a problem, most problems, by talking about it and thinking about it and planning and just sharpening your sword. Eventually you have to actually go out into the battlefield and put your sword to action. Pause. And before I talk about some ways that you can kind of develop this conviction, I want to tell you about a friend of mine who is a sheer embodiment of conviction and delusional confidence. And it's going to serve him tremendously. He's going to make a fuck ton of money simply because of the conviction that he has in himself. So about a year ago, a friend of mine went through a pretty tough time in his life and his business. The business that he had that he was making like $100K a month with basically shut down overnight. And around this same time, he made a questionable investment and lost, I think, 80 to 90% of his net worth. So he still had some money, but he lost basically everything in a span of a few weeks. And now he's in this position where he's basically in a body of water paddling, trying to stay alive. And he had a decent personal brand around the business that he was running previously that had just basically gotten shut down. So an easy life raft for him to grab onto would be to just do coaching, use his personal brand, then go and launch a coaching program. And, you know, it wouldn't be that hard for him to get back up to like 10, 15, even 30K a month relatively quickly with that. But he elected not to do that. He elected to follow a path that would mean that he wasn't really going to net a singular dollar for the next 10 months. And he was going to have to invest basically the rest of the money that he had and all of his time, energy, and resources into something that might be a home run in 10 months' time. But it wasn't the easy life raft that he could just grab onto. It was basically like swimming a mile to some random boat and hoping that the people on that boat let you on. And he elected to do that. And for the next 10 months, I had never seen anybody so locked in. Like the motherfucker didn't go outside if it wasn't just to grab food and quickly go back to his laptop. All he was doing was working because he was so sure on this idea, on this new project, and just the sheer passion and light that you could see behind his eyes because he was just fully convinced. He had full conviction in himself and his own ability and his own intuition that this was going to work, that this was going to make him multiple 7, multiple 8 figures. That somebody who is like literally drowning damn near, again, doesn't grab on to the little life raft in front of him. He takes the fucking moonshot. He goes for the big play. That will mean he doesn't make $1 for 10 months. And then hopefully this thing pans out and it works. And without getting into too much detail about his exact situation, it's gonna fucking work. And it's like he basically knew that was gonna happen all along. He just had too much conviction in himself and in what he was building for it to fail. And that's how you need to approach your life and your business and anything that you go after in life. If you can have that level of self-delusional confidence and just think, no matter what happens, I am me, I have my own back, I'm gonna figure it out on the fucking fly, and I'm gonna make this work no matter what, that's when you make it work. And like I said earlier with the basketball example, is like, again, somebody like LeBron James is marginally more athletic than someone like Aaron Gordon, who's a fantastic player in the NBA, but he's not fucking LeBron, right? Like that guy, if you know basketball, you know Aaron Gordon is an absolute freak athlete. He won the dunk contest. He definitely has over a 40-inch vertical. He's 6'8", 6'9", probably fast as hell. Like built very similar to LeBron, but it's like, what the fuck separates LeBron from somebody like Aaron Gordon? And again, it's who they believe that they are, because reality follows that thought. If LeBron thinks I have the potential to be one of the greatest players of all time, and he approaches his work that way, and he approaches every game like, okay, I need to score 30 fucking points tonight or it's an absolute failure. If that's where his standards lie, and he keeps telling himself that narrative over and over, eventually that becomes true in reality. And if a player like Aaron Gordon has this ceiling on himself, which again, he's a fantastic player, but if he views himself in like, okay, I'm a really solid role player, I'm gonna do my best, and I'm not meant to be the best player ever, then that's where his ceiling lies. So I want to remind you, if you're watching this and you're looking at me or other people that are like me, and you're like, damn, I could never be like them. Like they're just so articulate, they're so smart, they're so knowledgeable, they've been in this space for so long. Bro, I was once upon a time as dumb or probably dumber than you are right now. Like I was an absolute buffoon. But because of this, I was dumb enough to trust myself. I was dumb enough to believe that I actually could change, that I actually could become somebody who is successful and making the money that I want and living the lifestyle that I want. And the thing about conviction, the thing about this delusional self-confidence is, you know, I can tell you the systems, the blueprint that I followed to believe in myself, but it's not really going to help you until you understand that me and everybody else that you see online who looks super successful and looks like they're on a level that you're not on is exactly like you. And if you just act enough, if you just take the simple action and you trust yourself enough and you just keep firing shot after shot after shot, one of them goes in. And then once one of them goes in, you start to get a little bit more belief in yourself. Like the ball goes through the net, you get into a rhythm, and now you're like, holy shit, I can actually conceptualize myself becoming somebody new, becoming that person who I want to be, who is successful, who is one of the people that everybody else might look at and think like, damn, how did they even reach that level? There are two ways to ensure that you never fail. One, never start, never go after anything and just stay where you are and who you are. Or two, never quit. Pretty simple, right? But it's really easy to never quit when you're too dumb to think that you're gonna fail. When you are just too delusional and you have too much conviction and self-belief in you, even though it might be like a complete delusion, even though you might seem crazy because you just keep taking shot after shot and none of them go in, but you just keep firing until one eventually hits. You develop this conviction and this self-belief by diving in before you're ready and realizing that you know how to swim. And even though there's things that you're not going to be prepared for, that you can't foresee, as long as you just keep paddling, eventually you make it to where you wanted to go. And then that gives you another ounce of confidence because you're like, holy shit, I just did this. I set this goal, I dove in and I was completely unprepared, but I fucking figured it out. Like, what the hell? And then you realize that life is basically a video game. And anything that you want, if you just really attack with full force and you just refuse to give up and you refuse to let other people deter you from the path that you know you are meant to be on, you find success. And that's when you become LeBron, okay? But there's no getting around the fact that it's gonna be uncomfortable at first. It's gonna feel like you're an imposter. You're gonna feel completely lost. But a wise man once said, if you don't often feel like you're in over your head, you're probably not trying hard enough. That was my quote, by the way. But it's true. You should feel like you're in over your head. But if you get comfortable in that position, eventually you will know that you can handle anything that comes your way. And that's what freedom is. That's when you really feel like you can do anything because you have seen plenty of challenges that you weren't on paper prepared for, but you figured it out, you made it through, and you're still alive. Anyway, I gotta go to the gym. Thank you for watching. I love you. Like, subscribe, comment, share this with your grandma. If this gets 500 likes, I will start an OnlyFans. Okay, love you, peace.